Hey YouTubers, it's Platt. We're continuing on our beer style series with another truly unique Belgian brew. Today we're going to talk about the Belgian fruit Lambic, or Belgian Lambic. Quickly go over the numbers. SRM. There's no SRM for this beer. It's dependent on the fruit that gets blended in this beer, and we'll discuss that a little bit later. IBUs 15 to 21. ABVs, it's weird. I've seen on some style charts where they say this beer's 5 to 8%, but really it's more like a session beer. Some of these beers are as low as 2.5% to around the 4 area. So these are actually lighter in alcohol beers. Serving temperature wise, 45 to 50. But I think once you taste this, you might want to even serve it a little cooler, and you'll see why once you taste one of these. This beer is a little bit like the beer we tried previously, the Belgian Flanders. It's beer that's intentionally soured. Intentionally, they introduce another microorganism besides yeast into the beer. Now, where the beers kind of get a little diverse is the Flanders, if you remember, was a red ale. They would produce a young beer and then a older beer that was intentionally soured. But the base beer was a red ale. The beer they start with in this one is a base of 60 to 70% malted barley, and then the rest of the mash bill is unmalted wheat. If you've ever tried anything from a wheat beer to any kind of whiskeys distilled with wheat, you know wheat brings a certain softness to the finished product. Once this beer is brewed, then they take the wort to chill and they put in what's in a cool ship, which is a shallower vessel that's open. And it's in this open atmosphere that all the natural bacteria and other get into the beer. Generally, the organism of choice is Brettanomyces, like we saw in the Flanders, but it's done not from necessarily getting from the barrel that you age it in, but just from the open atmosphere. And then once this spontaneous fermentation, that's the term they use in this production, once the spontaneous fermentation begins, then they'll add the fruit in. Some producers will add in a fruit syrup or additional sugary syrups to kind of sweeten this thing up, kind of balance out the sourness once this beer gets soured. But most of the traditional styles just add the additional fruit, and that starts another secondary fermentation out there. And then, like I said, later on they blend the beers. These beers will age up to 2 to 3 years sometimes. The color of this beer, like I said, is very dependent on the style or the fruit that added. The predominant fruits, popular ones, are what's called a creek, which is cherry, pêche, which is a peach, cassis, which is a blancrant, and then the one we're going to try today is a Framboise or raspberry. And like I said, when you open these beers, you get the color of each one of those fruits. The cassis is very dark. The peach is a lighter beer. So that's how the colors come out. These beers tend to be highly carbonated. Fast rising bubbles, a nice thick head. Not necessarily something you're going to chug just because of the carbonation point. Hop aroma and bitterness, not in this beer. They don't happen. You're not going to pick up any hop nose, or there's not going to be a bitter finish on this one. Hops are not noticed on this. Because of the funky little microorganisms we got in here, you might get a cloudy, hazy kind of look through. So, we hold it up, look through, a little slight haze on that, and that's fine. That is not a defect if you get that haze. These beers go good with chèvre cheese, pineapple ceviche. Actually, I heard doing a little research, I had a guy suggest that this might be good for a shake. The Framboise here, raspberry, maybe throw it in a little ice cream, might produce a nice alcoholic milkshakes. And you guys know I like alcoholic milkshakes. The particular one we're trying today is the Framboise from Lindemans. Lindemans is a brewery over in Belgium that's been producing the style of beer since the early 1820s, I believe 1822. The Creek has been one of their longest running products. The Framboise and the other ones, the Pêche and the Cassis, actually didn't come about to the 80s. These are actually almost kind of newer beers. as far as the specific lines for specific fruit used. I do believe now in the last few years they've come out with an apple too, but I haven't seen it around. So let's go ahead and pop this thing open, and this is a little interesting on that. You've got the foil, which, you know, it's no problem. You can just cut the foil. And then once you cut the foil off, you have a bottle top. Alright, no problem. We've got a bottle opener. But, voila, corkage. So, when you pop one of these open, you'll need the handy wine opener. And hopefully all of my YouTube followers out there do have a wine opener available. Now, just a little warning, be careful. These corks can be kind of tough. It's kind of a snug fit for these style bottles. And the last thing you want to do is snap one off. But we didn't do it. Voila. Alright, so let's go ahead and give her a pour. There you go. As you can see, we get a nice head, a nice kind of crimson, maroonish, white head. Plenty of bubbles on the side. You probably can't pick it up, but there's plenty of fast rising bubbles on the side. The head's really nicely maintained. Let's give her a sniff. Oh yeah, definitely strong raspberry, almost a winey or wine kind of nose, like a sweeter type wine, like a nice sweet Pinot or Pinot Noir or something. Nose, you do get a little sweetness on the nose. Yeah, like I said, no hop aroma here. Let's give her a try. Whew. Nice raspberry sweetness punch, but then the sourness really kicks in. A little puckery. Not quite like a, you know, Sour Patch thing or anything like that. More like a really good, you know, real lemon juice lemonade. Kind of gives you a little pucker. Body-wise, this is a nice lighter body. Kind of goes down. Because of lower alcohol content, there's no alcohol burn. Finish-wise, I'd say medium, shortish. The bitterness definitely will get the sour, not bitter, sour, acidic nature of this. Kind of gets the salivation glands going, but it's not a long finish in your mouth. This probably, just because of that acidic, sour nature, probably would be a good pre-meal beverage. Because of that sourness, you probably, again, want to serve this a little colder or a little cooler. I'm not saying throw in a frosted milk, but definitely you want to, temperature-wise, make sure this doesn't warm up, because I can see where if it got warm, the sourness just wouldn't work. But a nice little front sweetness with the sour. To me, some people think these are a little too sour. To me, this is a nice little blend. It is a beer I would suggest for your non-beer drinking friends. If you've got someone that I just don't like beer, and you know, definitely are not an IPA type person, throw them onto this. It's a nice little introduction, even though the fruits in there is technically still a beer. And let me have one more sip. Alright, well, I hope you liked this video. If you did, please subscribe down below. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, leave them in the comment section. Or you can always contact me on the Twitter page. Well, until next time, bottoms up.